Welcome to Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. I'm Richard.
I'm Noah.
And today we are answering a viewer request, but being that we're Richard and Noah, we couldn't find the name of the person who left
There's
the
a lot of comments on our recent videos, and we're not complaining. It's just very hard to find your guys' names, which is ironic given the title of the movie.
Your Name.
Your Name.
Which is what we were requested to watch. And so I thought Noah was going to find the person, and he thought I was going to find the person, and so now neither one of us found the person.
We didn't find the person. But
no disrespect intended.
Person, your name will be flashed on the screen right now, and you will be tagged in the description, and a sincerest thank you. Thank you for recommending it. We do take recommendations, so if you have anything you want us to watch, let us know. Secretly, it helps us out a lot with our schedule planning.
Yes, actually it does. We love viewer requests.
No, we genuinely do.
Actually, it was a viewer request that led us to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Mm-hmm. And that was a movie that I probably would have missed had we not been...
And it was such a good movie.
It was an incredible movie.
So, yeah. We watched Your Name, which... You don't have a lot of forays into Japanese media outside of One Piece and Death Note.
That is correct.
So this is a wholly, as far as I'm aware, wholly original movie. There are some directors in Japan who do nothing but they just make movies, and they just happen to do it in the anime format. So it's a full feature cartoon, kind of like your Disney, your DreamWorks, whatever, except it's not as kid-focused over there.
Oh, it very definitely is not kid-focused. This whole concept, in fact,
as kid-focused.
Yeah, there's
pretty like
underlying darkness to this movie. Well, a tragedy, I should say.
Tragedy,
not darkness. Tragedy.
Not darkness. Tragedy. Yeah, I would say that.
But okay, so Your Name. First of all, a movie I never would have heard of had we not started on the One Piece journey.
And I had heard of this movie, and I knew that this was one of those that people really liked. Now the thing is that I always I'm going to give you a little background. This is fun. So there's another one that after this, correct me if I'm wrong, but we might get some requests for these. Is Studio Ghibli movies or Ghibli, however you say it. I always heard it pronounced Ghibli. Studio Ghibli. Close. But those are like My Neighbor... forgive me if I get one of these wrong. My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Well, that sounds fun.
Well, I've heard there was a director, I don't remember his name, but he made a lot of these movies. I think it's his studio. Okay. And someone compared him to like Japan's Walt Disney, essentially.
That's a heck of a comparison.
But the movies I hear are fantastic. I've only really seen one of them, and I was asleep through half of it because I was working the night shift at that time. So...
let me guess.
Those might be on the list in the future, but these are in the same vein, I believe. Well, not like they're not the same genre, obviously, but like these are Your Name. I believe it's Your Lie in April. There's another one like that or something. They're just really well known and beloved movies that just happen to be anime, essentially. And so I know these by reputation. And I know these by reputation to hurt people. And legitimately, I thought, emotionally, like make you sad.
Gotcha.
Hurt you, like make you sad, you know? And Your Name was one of those that I knew going into it that this was a more emotional story. Okay. That people had emotional reactions to. Yeah.
All right. So
this might get a little harder to talk about later.
Well, actually, not for me.
Maybe not for you.
For a variety of reasons. So let me start out with this. First of all, the introduction to the One Piece community introduced me to this whole different world of storytelling. The Japanese, the anime, the manga. The stuff outside of, people have made fun of me in the past for not realizing that Speed Racer was anime. Yeah. That I grew up with, but there's just this whole world of storytelling, and I thought to myself, you know what? This is fun. What a delight to I turned
something
60
new.
soon. I mean, I've been doing English and Western literature for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have this whole new world of literature and entertainment opened up to me, and it's really cool. So I really like that. Then I sit down and I watch Your Name because it was recommended to us, and what a delight! What an absolutely delightful movie.
It is a good movie, yes. And it is, I'm going to add, beautifully animated.
Oh, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous for the style.
Now,
and anime has so much potential to be absolutely breathtaking animation. And this one, there's just the sky shots in this one where like, this is just beautiful. The colors, the contrast, it was gorgeous. This movie just aesthetically is gorgeous to look at.
I think if you look at my reaction to I think it was The Amazing World of One Piece, where it was just like a breathtaking world where it's just
our most watched video.
Is it really?
It is.
Still, no, I did not know that.
It is our most watched video.
What a visually delightful experience that was. Mm-hmm. I mean, it truly was just the best of the animation that worked. So
he made a sequel because the original got taken down, so he made a sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I will have to watch that.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah. So someone actually talked about that too.
So I'm watching this and I enjoyed it. Now I will say this from the beginning, and this was not a disappointment for me.
Okay.
I pretty much had this movie figured out. Mm-hmm. Within the first 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
I tend to do this.
Yes,
and there's one of the things that it doesn't matter if it's Western storytelling or Eastern storytelling or what, there's a finite number of ways you can tell a story. Mm-hmm. And there's right?
Yeah.
And so one of two things was going to happen in this story. The two main characters were going to meet and fall in love, or the two main characters were going to miss and there's going to be heartache.
Yeah.
Now, when I recognized that right away, that these are our two options, and the story was going to go one way or the other. If I'm a betting man, I am always going to bet on meet and fall in love because everybody pretty much wants a happy ending.
Yeah.
And so I was right about that. So the question then becomes, how are you going to get from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie?
Yeah.
And that was a delightful ride full of unexpected twists and turns because I didn't try to figure it out beyond that point. Once I realized where we were going, I kind of just sat back and said, okay, director, take me there. Yeah. And that way I could just enjoy all of the twists and turns. And the biggest twist and turn that came in the story was the time travel element to it.
See, now that is what didn't surprise me about this movie.
Okay.
Because what surprised me about this movie is that I mixed it up with a different movie that I had heard of. So there's another movie out there. I do not know what it's called. For all I know, I already named it earlier. I don't know what it's called, but it's the alternate route, essentially.
Where it's heartache at the end?
There's a movie, and I don't know where it is. I believe it's an anime movie where there's a boy and a girl, and they're communicating. And I don't think they're switching bodies like they do in this film, but they link up, and they're like falling in love with each other, and then they realize that they lived in two completely different time periods. And by the time they can meet up, one's a kid, one's about to die, essentially.
Oh my goodness!
And that's where I was like, I was watching this movie, and I was like. So I knew that was going to be the twist,
right?
And so I was blending it with what I had heard about this other movie that had that plot, and I was like, "Don't do this to me. I can't do this right now. I can't deal with this right now. All right. Life's been a bitch lately. I can't handle these two not getting, not meeting up. I can't deal with a tragic ending." In the right now, so I was delightfully surprised that it went the alternate route.
And the interesting thing about the end of the movie is they had several brush passes.
Yes,
it could have gone either way right up until the final scene.
Yeah,
and that had me wondering which way are they going to play this in the final 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
all right. But I don't know that there's nothing in this movie that is truly thought-provoking or something to ponder. There's no big moral lessons. There's no moral dilemmas. There are two people who, on an unexplained, and I'm perfectly fine with it being unexplained.
Yeah, me too.
They swap bodies periodically.
Yeah.
And they live life as each other, a 17-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And then they swap bodies, and then they figure out they're swapping bodies, and they learn to communicate primarily through their cell phones. They leave
messages
for each other.
And I think that's where I realized that they were aligned in terms of the timeline. They weren't that far apart. I still expected there to be a time gap because that's where the tragedy is going to come in, is that they're going to be separated by time. But I was like, cell phones. So when they said that it's only a 3-year gap, I was like, got it. Still made it sad to watch her show up, and him not know who she was. And that's where it's like, okay, we don't talk about, romance movies typically get formulaic.
Yes, they do.
Especially in Western culture. The stereotypes about Hallmark movies and whatnot. This was really well done. In terms of, it was a unique premise that these two slowly grew attached to each other.
Right.
Because they were each other.
Right.
And then they just wanted to meet, and then they realized they couldn't meet, and that just made it worse. And so as the movie goes on, you just see them, you want to see them meet more and more as the movie goes on, because you're like, oh, it's like that just kiss already thing, except they want to, and they can't.
Yeah, they can't.
And you're like, just
Yes.
Just let them meet. Let them get together.
And that's the big tease.
Yeah.
All the way through the end of the movie, are they going to have the opportunity to do that?
Yes.
And it's got the vintage time travel question. If you can go back in time, can you change the course of events to have a different outcome?
Yeah. Well, they don't even ponder it. They just do.
They just do it.
They just do it.
No, but it's the question for the audience.
Yeah.
It's not the question that they have in the movie.
Yeah.
The audience and everybody who writes a story that plays with time travel has a different take. Either you can or you can't.
Yeah.
And if you can, do you alter the outcome of the future, or is the outcome in the future inevitable?
Or is you going back in time what sets the course in the future?
Right.
There's so many different paths to take. This one's just like, no, you can change it.
Yep. You can
change it.
But the biggest problem that I had with this movie was the speed of the dialogue.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I don't know if it's just I'm not used to this format.
It might be that.
I don't know if I'm truly beginning to wonder if there's an age issue where I'm not able to process things as quickly as I used to be able to. But I was very confused by this movie for a good portion of the movie. Mm-hmm. I couldn't track names. They were just flying so quickly.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I typically just wipe names from my head.
Right.
And I'm just like, until I'm like, unless it's like an anime series, then I'll pay attention to what I need to. But only the main players.
So,
but if I'm watching a movie in another language, like Godzilla -1, I don't know what that guy's name was. I just know the main character. Oh, the main character's girlfriend. The main character's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
The
Godzilla. The businessman, the soldiers.
I got Godzilla's name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
I caught that.
Except it's Gojira.
It's Gojira. That's right. It's Gojira.
But no, I completely wipe names from my mind when I'm watching these things, just because I'm like, I'm never going to track it.
Right.
It's the same reason I had issues with Dune, keeping track of things in Dune.
Okay.
Well, that's the problem I have is I can't name a single thing in Dune. I don't know what they call him. I don't know what the names of the planets are. I don't know any of them because it's all foreign. There's nothing in the English language that it relates to that I can be like that. Someone in this movie's name was Taki. I believe it was the girl. And I only know that because Taki's the chip.
Wait.
That's what I thought every time I saw it.
No, Taki's the guy.
Taki's the guy?
Taki's the guy.
See, I even got it wrong. And I only remember the name because we have chips called Takis.
Mitsuha is the girl.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. So one of the ways I solved my confusion with some of this was I just went and did an internet search after I finished the movie. Mm-hmm. And when I got to the internet search, a few other things made sense. One of the things that confused me is I thought Taki was high school and Mitsuha was middle school. I thought there was about like a 3-4 year age gap between the two of them. And I thought he was just a repressed high schooler. They have that whole bit. And it's kind of funny. They have that whole bit where he wakes up, he's in her body. Yeah. And her younger sister keeps walking in her bedroom, finding her holding herself because it's a 17-year-old boy who for the first time gets to hold boobs. It's a funny joke the first time they do it. Yeah. They did it 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
It got old.
It got very old.
It gets old.
It lost its charm. And that's just it. The first time,
it's like, that's what, because they reverse it too.
Right.
And it's like, all right, to be fair, that is what.
Well, did they reverse it? Did they?
She does. She reaches down and grabs the.
Oh, yeah. So I missed that. Right. Yeah. I don't know.
It happens the first time she wakes up in his body.
Gotcha.
It's like a, sort of thing.
Right. And boys and girls would have 2 entirely different reactions to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, they carried that along just a little bit too far. They had, little moments like that. What would it be like if you woke up and you were a...
Well, yeah, and then they make it... And that little montage of them in each other's bodies, living each other's lives, and then and then communicating back and forth was actually... It was really cute. It was really charming.
It was.
And it... the way that he only does a ponytail and she does a whole braid system. Mm-hmm. And
right.
This is really funny.
So it really truly was a fun concept, and I just think it kind of cemented for me. I really don't go into movies anymore expecting something really truly different or revolutionary in terms of a plot. What I'm looking for is the most new and original, entertaining way that we get to the ending that we know is coming. Okay. That's really how I'm approaching storytelling nowadays. Okay. And so if it's not new, if it's not novel, if it's not entertaining in some level where I'm not disappointed, and I guess that's the big thing, find a new way of keeping that ride.
People, talk about the death of originality, and what makes something original anymore, which that could be a whole video in itself. My view on it is, can you take something old and make it feel new again? If you can, that's something original. That's originality these days. If you can take if you can take an old story and do it in a new way that is fresh and exciting. That has a level of originality to it, because at this point we're all just rehashing a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's just getting rehashed over and over and over again. It's very hard to come across something where you're like, I can't find an inspirational source for this. Anywhere. Somewhere this person because everyone's inspired by something, right?
Yes.
Everyone's inspired by something. So,
yes.
You can't really say that they weren't.
When I first watched, and we covered this in one of our episodes, when I first watched the Thomas Crown Affair, the Thomas Crown Affair for me, when I saw the 1999 Pierce Brosnan movie, it was fresh. Yeah. It was interesting. It was very well done. Yeah. Music was incredible. Then we find out that it was a remake, and I remember when I learned that it was a remake, I was a little bit disappointed. But when I watched the remake, I was like, okay, this is
the original.
Well, the original. No, actually. So
because there was 3 versions of it, right?
So in 1968-69, Steve McQueen did a Thomas Crown Affair. Yeah, and it was. I can imagine it was very entertaining for its time. But I found out that was a remake of a movie from the late 40s.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so you've almost got this 20, 30-year cycle where they're reaching back, grabbing a script, a story concept, bringing it forward and updating it. Yeah. And some of the updates are really good and fresh and fun. But probably because, I mean, up until 2 years ago, I did not know that Steve McQueen did a Thomas Crown Affair.
Yeah.
I did not know that some of the scenes that they filmed were verbatim the scenes that they filmed in the 1999 version. I mean, there were some pages of script that were just
identical
and moved forward.
Nice.
But the end of the movie was different.
Yeah.
You know, so part of this question of originality really has to do with how well known is the source material.
That's fair, yeah. Something will seem more original if you don't know what it's inspired by.
Yes.
But back to the topic at hand, we have basically a love story.
We do.
Kind of literally star-crossed lovers, if you will.
They are.
But
if you know, you know.
But they know. You don't click on a Your Name video if you haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure. Like, now, if you are this far into the video, it's been like 20 minutes. All right, if you are this far into the video, and you haven't watched this movie, I don't know what you're doing here, but thanks for being here.
Oh, we do appreciate it. Yeah. Now go watch the movie.
Yeah, no, go watch the movie.
And then come back
and
see the end. Yes.
But it's a sweet story.
It is. It's a wonderful story.
It's a heartwarming story.
Yep.
It's a little heartbreaking at points, where I was a little choked up watching them forget. That's the
that
that's
hurt.
the thing. Now
that emotionally hurts.
That's the part where it's like, this really hurt, and it doesn't help these. The music in this was perfect because it's not like so, unique that it like stands out. I can't hum a single track from this. None of it got stuck in my head, but it perfectly serviced the story in not doing that. The emotion of the music matched the emotion of the scene, and it hurt so bad. The sunset thing where they finally see each other and they switch back was like,
yes. And the fact that they started to forget each other, and they were panicky about it, right?
They were scared of forgetting it. It's like
made the audience panicky about it, right? I mean, we went along with that ride. The music specifically, we watched the English dub. We have the translations on the screen, or we're listening to the English in anyway.
You listen to the English version, or you listen to the Japanese version?
I think I listened to the English version. I think I watched the English version.
Okay. So, I watched the Japanese version.
Gotcha. So you were reading it as they went.
Yeah, I was reading it. I'm very good at multitasking and watching anime.
Well, I might have been also, and I don't remember. What I remember, no, the words were in English, except the music was being sung in Japanese.
That makes sense.
And I remember partway through watching it, thinking to myself, I wish there was a translation of the lyrics, because I bet you it's helping tell the story. So I
bet it was.
I did go back and I did research the music.
Yeah.
I got the soundtrack for it, and I looked up the lyrics in English.
Yeah.
It really didn't help like I hoped it would.
Okay.
So it didn't.
Maybe that might be just a translation. I feel like there's a lot of things that, as we are learning from our comments on the One Piece, there's a lot of wordplay in Japanese that does not translate to English.
Yes.
So there's a great possibility that half the words that they're singing have double entendres.
Oh, it could be. It could be, except for the feel of the music.
The feel of the music
lend itself to that.
I don't know. I will say the music by itself, minus the lyrics, whatever those might be, fit the scenes perfectly.
Yes.
And it was heart-wrenching.
Yes.
And there is a hint. So this director has made a lot of movies. There is a cameo appearance by these two, apparently there's a photo of them together in a future movie.
Oh wow.
A sequel movie.
Okay.
So, and that is and then like they make novelizations called light novels in Japan.
Okay.
So I actually don't know what a light novel is technically. I just know they exist, and it's just a book.
Okay.
Typically of anime, manga, or movies like this.
I wonder if it's the same as a novella.
I believe so.
Okay.
Anyway, in the light novel of the movie that this director made, it is also hinted at that they got married.
Oh, okay.
But nothing has been confirmed. There's no follow-up. There's no sequel. The director has not said this is how it goes. There's just little teasing hints in a couple of his works that are like, yeah, they ended up together. But I think everyone kind of got that by the end of this.
Yes, well, once they get together and they start life together, then it becomes a typical marriage.
Yeah, but then you just kind of want to watch this. And this made me want to go watch A Slice of Life just to feel something.
Well,
which is a phenomenon I need to introduce you to. A Slice of Life anime. Yeah.
Okay. The
that is a type. Not a,
no,
not a
I get it.
title.
I get it.
A type of show.
No,
type of story.
Yeah, no, I know.
And,
I've written slice of life stories.
Right,
I understand the whole concept of it.
They make entire series. We're going to do.
That's kind of interesting.
That are literally just like a day in the life of this.
Right.
And there's no major overarching story. We'll do one of them.
A day in the life of Ivan.
I don't know. Anyway, because those are always my favorite parts of movies.
No, because this is one worth reading. I know that I never assigned this to you to read. A Day in the Life of Ivan Tesinovich. Pardon?
Dunovich?
No. Here, I'm going to have it here. It's been so long since I've read it. A Day in the Life of Ivan... Denisovich. It's Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Anyways, it's the story of a day in the life of a man in a Russian gulag.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is very definitely worth reading. It's a thin book. It's like this. You want to read that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Great literal slice of life of
All right, I'm gonna go watch a heartwarming Japanese slice of life anime.
Okay.
To make myself feel better after this.
You mean a Russian gulag wouldn't do that for you?
No. I'm gonna go watch like the first 3 episodes of Spy Family and feel better.
Okay. So, follower, name inserted here, who suggests your name. Thank you for the suggestion.
Sincerely, thank you.
Yeah, this was wonderful.
This was wonderful. Watch. If you all have any other, I can see why. Specifically, I do remember reading your comment saying that this movie meant a lot to you. I can see why.
Yes. Oh yeah. This is a good one.
This is a very good one. I can see how it would probably hit different people in different ways, and everyone's going to react to this one differently, I think, just based off of your experience with love, loss, and heartbreak.
Yes.
Because it kind of explores all 3.
Yes. Simultaneously,
yes. Which is impressive.
Yes.
So let us know your thoughts on Your Name.
Yeah, if you've seen it, what do you think?
This is it's very well reviewed from what I hear.
Really?
Love this.
Okay.
People love this movie, which, I mean... Can you blame them?
No, this is a good one.
This is a fantastic one. And we're going to need to do more of these.
We do.
We should do some Studio Ghibli, I feel like. We should probably do something like My Neighbor Totoro or Howl's Moving Castle.
Hey, you know what? I am fine with that.
Because that would be fresh for me, too.
There's a whole new world that's been opened up to me. Yeah. That I'm just absolutely just enthralled with. It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Let us know your thoughts on Your Name in the comment section down below. Thank you again for the suggestion.
Yep. And give us more.
Subscribe for more videos like this on Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. And thanks for watching.
See you next time. Yeah, this movie was just a delight. All right.
Yeah, I was a little choked up watching it. I'm like, don't stop doing this to me. I'm gonna commission a chibi of me ripping my heart out and stomping on it in like a comic panel format.
I'm sorry,
and
I
sell
gave
that
you
merch. and take Take this away from me. I don't want it anymore. I want a refund. Can I get a refund for this? I don't want this anymore. How much is it to book a ticket to the Temple of Doom? They can have it. You know?
Let me see if it works. Kaliva.
Oh boy. Oh boy.